9 signs a woman is silently suffering for you. Stoicism. Modern Stoic. Sign number 1. She tries hard to seem indifferent around you. Sometimes, the most telling signs of a woman's inner struggles are the ones she doesn't openly express. Take, for example, when she tries to seem indifferent around you. Have you ever noticed how she talks to you like you're just another casual acquaintance, even though there's an underlying tension in her body language? It's as if she's trying to downplay the emotional weight you carry in her life, but you can almost feel it, like a forced smile or a subtle shift in her posture that betrays her cool exterior. This effort to appear unaffected is no mere coincidence. It's a clear sign that something much deeper is going on beneath the surface. She's likely hiding something significant, something she doesn't feel ready to expose. That facade of indifference is, in fact, a form of self-preservation. By putting up this emotional barrier, she's attempting to protect herself, creating a buffer between you and her true feelings. After all, emotions can be overwhelming, and vulnerability even more so. She might avoid personal topics altogether, or steer the conversation away from any subject that feels too intimate. If the talk edges towards something personal or revealing, you may notice her tone shift. Perhaps it becomes more neutral or even dismissive. These subtle cues suggest she's wrestling with her emotions, trying to hold back from revealing too much. Behind that cold, detached front is a woman who's carefully weighing every word she speaks to you, and for good reason. She's afraid that if she lets her guard down even for a moment, her true feelings will spill out, leaving her exposed. What she's really doing is walking a fine line, balancing between wanting to connect with you and protecting herself from the vulnerability of that connection. In these moments, pay attention to how she reacts when you move a little closer. Is she pulling back, even if it's just an inch? Does her body stiffen when you get too close or touch her? These subtle physical signs often reveal the internal conflict she's battling. The distance she tries to maintain, the coolness she projects, is all a defense mechanism designed to keep her feelings in check. But underneath that chilly demeanor, there's often a warmth that she is struggling to contain, a longing that she's trying to suppress. The wound is the place where the light enters you, as Rumi wisely said, and her attempts to keep things light and easy may actually be the very place where her emotions are silently bubbling up, ready to break free. Understanding this subtle, often hidden sign can dramatically shift your perspective. Rather than assuming she's simply uninterested or detached, you now know she's carefully navigating her own internal struggles. She may want to draw closer to you, but her fear of rejection, of vulnerability, or even of the unknown, keeps her at arm's length. Spotting this facade gives you insight into her emotional world, allowing you to approach her with greater empathy and patience. But here's the kicker. Once you recognize this, you'll start seeing the next sign, and that's where things get even more revealing. The facade will begin to crack, and what you discover next could be a total game changer. Now, I'd love to hear your thoughts. Have you ever noticed a woman acting indifferent when you know she's feeling something deeper? Share your experiences in the comments below, and let's continue the conversation. If you find this valuable, comment below, and share it with someone who could benefit. Don't forget to subscribe for more wisdom. Comment to remember. I recognize the emotional battles beneath the surface. Sign number 2. She distances herself from you without a clear explanation. In relationships, there are moments when a woman may seem distant, almost as if she's purposely avoiding you. It's a subtle yet powerful signal, often misinterpreted as a sign of disinterest or coldness. But what if this behavior isn't about losing interest? What if, instead, it's an emotional defense mechanism? You see, when a woman pulls away without a clear explanation, it's usually because being near you stirs up emotions she may not be ready to confront. At first glance, her absence or silence might seem like a rejection, but in reality, it's much deeper. It's not that she no longer cares, but rather that she's overwhelmed by her feelings, and distancing herself is her way of protecting her heart. In today's fast-paced world, where communication is constant and expectations are high, Emotional vulnerability can be incredibly daunting. She might cancel plans at the last minute or take longer to respond to messages, but this isn't because she's lost interest or is trying to play games. It's her way of regaining emotional composure. Think about it. When someone cares deeply about you, being near you can feel like a roller coaster of emotions. The closer you get, the more exposed she feels. And when the intensity of those emotions becomes too much to handle, she instinctively pulls away to regain control over her heart and mind. It's not a rejection, but a strategy to safeguard herself from the potential pain of growing closer, only to face the possibility of heartbreak. In moments like these, it's important to notice the small details, her body language, the fleeting glances she offers, the subtle warmth in her eyes when she looks at you. Even though she might appear distant, her eyes may still seek yours, if only for a moment. This silent connection speaks volumes, revealing that she's torn between wanting to be close to you and the fear of what that closeness might bring. Modern life often teaches us to view emotions through the lens of certainty, expecting quick resolutions and instant gratification. But relationships, especially those that stir deep emotions, require patience and understanding. In this case, her silence and withdrawal are part of her internal struggle. She's trying to make sense of her feelings while also protecting herself from potential hurt. Her behavior might seem like a puzzle, but it's a sign that she cares more than you realize. This emotional distance isn't about shutting you out, but about managing the intensity of the feelings she's trying to process. For you, recognizing this subtle behavior is crucial. It allows you to see beyond the surface and understand the complexity of her emotional world. While it may be tempting to push for answers or confront her about the distance, it's important to approach the situation with sensitivity and empathy. Give her the space she needs, but also reassure her that you're there for her when she's ready to share her heart. The beauty of this moment lies in your ability to notice the small, quiet signs, her need for emotional space while still holding on to the desire for connection. This delicate balance can be the key to deeper understanding and growth within the relationship. As you move forward, remember that silence doesn't always mean indifference. Sometimes it's a signal that she's silently battling her own fears and vulnerabilities. And when you notice this, it's not a sign to pull back, but rather a chance to show her that you're there, not just for the good times, but also for the emotional complexities that come with loving someone deeply. You're on the verge of understanding something profound about her, and the next sign she gives might just reveal even more about what's going on beneath the surface. Stay tuned, there's much more to uncover. If this resonates with you, hit that like button, share it with someone who might need this wisdom, and don't forget to subscribe for more insights into navigating relationships with depth and understanding. In the comments section below, affirm this: I understand her emotional world and I lead with empathy. Stay present, stay strong, and let's keep learning together. Sign number 3. She hesitates before replying to your messages. In the maze of modern relationships, where communication is faster and more accessible than ever, there's a hidden language, the one she speaks through silence. A woman who is silently suffering for you doesn't wear it on her sleeve, but her hesitation, every pause, every delayed response speaks volumes. Have you ever noticed how, when you send her a message, she takes longer than usual to reply, even when she's clearly online? It's not disinterest, far from it. It's an internal battle. She is carefully selecting her words, weighing each one, as if the wrong phrase might expose more than she's willing to share. The delay isn't because she's indifferent, it's because she's afraid. She's afraid of letting her guard down, of revealing too much, of showing vulnerability. And when that message finally comes, it may seem simple, even distant, but don't be fooled. Behind those few words lies a mind that's been running circles, rewriting, second-guessing, and agonizing over the perfect thing to say. She wants to sound natural, but the fear of exposing her emotions holds her back. This hesitation, this overthinking, it's a sign of how deeply you affect her. You make her feel things she can't always express, and that's a burden, even if she doesn't voice it. In person, pay attention to how she pauses before speaking. That silence, those brief moments of hesitation, they aren't trivial. They carry weight. Her words are a delicate balance, and every conversation with you holds the potential to either bring her closer to you or wound her. These are the moments that show you how much she values your connection, but also how vulnerable she feels in it. You, in her eyes, are a source of both joy and fear. Joy for the possibility of something beautiful, fear because love is never without risk. Every exchange feels like a gamble, and she's terrified of losing. She suffers silently, not because she doesn't care, but because she cares so much. And while she doesn't show it, she's testing the waters, calculating the emotional cost of every word, every glance, every interaction. The hesitation may seem subtle, but it's profound. The truth is, this kind of emotional vulnerability is both a sign of deep affection and a form of silent suffering. She's walking a fine line between wanting to be close to you and protecting herself from the inevitable hurt that sometimes comes with love. And this is where you, as a man, can make a difference. By understanding the hidden struggles behind her hesitation, you become a more powerful presence in her life. It's about recognizing the weight of her silence and meeting it with patience, understanding, and assurance. Take it from the great Stoic philosopher Epictetus, who said, "Wealth consists not in having great possessions, but in having few wants." In the context of love, this applies. She doesn't want to be overwhelmed, but to feel seen, heard, and respected. You must be the steady hand she can trust, not one that adds to the emotional storm she's already weathering. When you show her the same patience and understanding that she shows in her careful, thoughtful pauses, you will build something that transcends fleeting passion, something rooted in depth, trust, and mutual respect. Understand this. In every pause, there's a story. In every word she chooses not to say, there's a deeper truth waiting for you to uncover. This is the silent language of vulnerability, and it's a call to action for you. Recognize it, respond to it, and honor it. Because while she may be suffering in silence, it's not a sign of weakness. It's a sign of how much she's invested in what you have. So the next time you notice a pause in her reply, don't rush to judgment. See it for what it truly is. The beginning of something more, something worth waiting for. And for that, you must be present. You must be the kind of man who not only notices the silence, but also understands the depth of what it holds. Now ask yourself, are you willing to rise to the challenge, to read between the lines, to be the one who stands by her when the weight of her emotions becomes too heavy to bear? If so, the next chapter of your story together will be one of profound connection and powerful transformation. Don't just observe, act. Reach out with confidence, with a quiet strength, and let her know that the vulnerability she shows is not a burden, but a gift. Sign number 4. She seeks your attention through indirect actions. When a woman is silently suffering for you, she won't always express her feelings directly, but her actions speak volumes. She'll often seek your attention in subtle, indirect ways, doing things that seem small or insignificant, but carry deep meaning. Rather than coming out and saying what's on her mind, she may drop a comment in a group setting, something funny or offbeat, simply to gauge your reaction. Or perhaps she'll post something on social media that feels almost as if it's meant specifically for you, making you wonder if you're the one she's really talking to. These little gestures are her way of standing out in the crowd without revealing the full extent of her emotions, an attempt to draw you in without making herself vulnerable. The key to understanding this behavior is to realize that it's never random. Think about those moments when she asks you an off-the-cuff question or when she suddenly changes her appearance just before you arrive. It's no coincidence. These actions are her silent way of calling for your attention, all the while maintaining a sense of distance and mystery. Every seemingly small gesture, from the way she positions herself around you to the timing of her comments, is a way for her to test whether you'll notice her, whether you'll respond to her subtle cues without her having to bare her soul. It's a delicate dance she's performing, playing a game of connection where she's the only player, hoping you'll notice without her having to expose herself fully. This indirect pursuit is like a well-played chess game. Each move is calculated, with her maintaining control over how much she reveals. She's testing the waters, observing your reactions to figure out if you're paying attention, but without stepping too far out of her comfort zone. Every little action is a signal that she's thinking of you more than she's willing to let on. And while it might feel like a puzzle, it's her way of keeping herself on your mind. As Marcus Aurelius wisely said, "The impediment to action advances action. What stands in the way becomes the way." The indirect signs she gives are her way of trying to break through any barriers between you, creating a pathway that doesn't feel risky for her. But for you to truly understand the depth of her feelings, you need to stay alert and be able to read these signs. So often, people miss these subtle cues because they don't know how to interpret them, assuming they're just harmless actions. But in reality, these gestures are loaded with emotion. Her willingness to subtly connect with you, without fully opening up, shows that she cares but is afraid of being too exposed. It's important to remember that this isn't just about noticing her actions. It's about being present enough to understand their significance. These gestures are her way of asking you to pay attention, to care enough to see what she's saying without words. In many cases, the person who doesn't notice these signs is the one who misses out on a deeper connection. If you want to understand her better, begin by being aware of the moments when she seems to reach out, but in a quiet, almost unspoken way. Each time she does this, she's offering you a glimpse into her inner world. And the more you learn to read these clues, the more you'll uncover what she really feels. This kind of emotional intelligence isn't just valuable in relationships. It's key to understanding the people around you and forming deeper, more meaningful connections. Ultimately, these signs are not to be ignored. If you're attuned to the way she's trying to communicate with you, you'll see that there's much more beneath the surface than what she's letting on. It's like looking at a painting and realizing that every brushstroke has a deeper meaning. As you begin to understand her indirect pursuit, you might find that she's been silently calling for your attention all along. Now, I invite you to share your thoughts. Have you ever noticed someone trying to connect with you in subtle ways? What did you make of it? Let us know in the comments. Comment to remember, I noticed the subtle signs. Sign number 5. She acts strangely when she's around you. When a woman seems to act strangely around you, it's often a subtle yet powerful indicator of her internal struggle. Have you ever noticed her stutter or appear nervous simply by being in your presence? Perhaps she laughs a bit too much or finds herself constantly fiddling with her hair. These seemingly innocent actions are actually signs of a deeper, unspoken discomfort. She wants to appear calm and composed, but inside, her heart is racing, and her body can't help but betray her emotions. This type of restlessness stems from a tension between a genuine desire to connect with you and the overwhelming fear of rejection. The next time you notice her stumbling over her words or averting eye contact, don't take it as disinterest. Quite the opposite. It's a sign that something powerful is stirring inside her. These nervous behaviors are manifestations of the strong feelings she may not know how to express. It's a delicate balance. She wants to be close to you, but is unsure how to navigate the vulnerability that comes with it. Her body language also provides clues to her inner turmoil. Pay attention to subtle signs like crossed arms or an anxious shifting of her feet. These movements aren't random. They signal that she's struggling to manage the intensity of her emotions. It's almost as if being near you overwhelms her in a way that she can't quite control. In these moments, her mind might be a whirlwind of emotions, but she's keeping it all inside, silently suffering because she doesn't know how to deal with what she feels. It's like a dance of conflicting desires. Her heart yearns to get closer to you, but her mind tells her to hold back for fear of vulnerability. What you need to recognize in these moments is that her behavior isn't a reflection of disinterest or detachment. It's a direct sign that you've stirred something profound in her. She's not running away from you, but rather from the emotional intensity she doesn't know how to manage. If you're paying attention, you'll see through the surface level to what she's really experiencing. an internal battle between wanting to connect and the fear of potential heartbreak. This is where your own emotional intelligence becomes key. Instead of misinterpreting her actions as awkwardness or discomfort, understand them as signs of her struggle to handle the weight of her feelings. As you recognize these signals, understand that what she's going through is not easy. It's not about her pushing you away or not caring. It's about her being overwhelmed by something real and powerful that she doesn't know how to process. She may hide it behind humor or nervous gestures, but deep down, she's suffering in silence. The next time you encounter this, try to create an environment where she feels safe to express herself. Let her know that you're not going to judge her, but rather you're here to understand and support her. And remember, the emotional journey isn't always about big gestures. It's about creating space for someone to feel heard and seen, especially when they are wrestling with feelings they can't quite articulate. This understanding is crucial because it allows you to respond with patience, empathy, and sensitivity. You can be the anchor she needs, not by pushing her to open up, but by allowing her to come to you in her own time. By recognizing these signs, you're not just acknowledging her struggle, you're showing her that you care enough to look beyond the surface and see the emotional complexity underneath. Share your thoughts on this in the comments. Have you ever experienced a moment like this with someone? How did you respond? And what was the outcome? Your insights could help others navigate similar experiences in their own lives. Sign number 6. She avoids touching you even in natural moments. In modern relationships, subtle signs often reveal more than words ever could, and one of the most telling gestures to watch for is the way a woman reacts to physical touch. Have you ever noticed how she seems hesitant, almost reluctant, to touch you, even in situations that are naturally casual, like a simple handshake, a shoulder brush, or a friendly greeting? While this may seem like a small thing, it carries deeper meaning. It's not that she has lost interest or doesn't want to be close to you. Instead, this hesitation signals something much more intense, something that's tied to her emotions. Touch is a powerful communicator, and when a woman keeps her distance in these small moments, it's often because she's trying to protect her inner world. You see, when other people approach her, she might seem completely at ease, even comfortable with a light touch or a casual gesture. But when it's you, something shifts. The same touch that flows effortlessly with others becomes charged, as if it could reveal too much too soon. Perhaps you've seen it, a subtle flinch or a quick step back when you draw near, or the way she crosses her arms. An unconscious defense mechanism signaling that she's guarding herself. What's happening in these moments isn't about a lack of desire. It's a quiet reflection of her inner conflict. She fears that a simple touch could expose emotions she's not ready to face or share, or that it might invite a level of vulnerability that she's not yet prepared to surrender. The space she keeps between you is a self-imposed boundary to shield her heart from the weight of what her feelings for you might mean. Yet, despite this protective instinct, there's often a hint in her eyes, an unspoken language that betrays what her actions are trying to conceal. A fleeting glance, a spark in her gaze that contradicts the physical distance she maintains, may reveal her true feelings. She's conflicted, torn between wanting to be closer to you and the fear that such closeness would expose too much of her own emotional landscape. These moments of contradiction, where her body says one thing but her eyes tell a different story, are signs that she is silently grappling with her emotions. Recognizing this pattern isn't just about interpreting her actions, but understanding the deeper emotions at play. The hesitation in her touch isn't a rejection. It's an invitation to look closer, to see beyond the surface and understand that her heart is quietly struggling with a mix of desire and fear. She wants to be close, but her fear of vulnerability, of revealing too much, holds her back. In a way, it's a protective mechanism. The more you can recognize this in her behavior, the clearer the underlying message becomes. She's guarding her feelings, but at the same time, she's silently hoping you'll see through the defense and understand her struggle. This understanding can create a bridge for deeper connection, as it shows that you're aware of her complexities and can empathize with the internal tug-of-war she's facing. So the next time you notice this subtle hesitation, consider it a window into her heart, a quiet signal that she's caught between wanting to open up and needing to protect herself. With this in mind, your approach should be one of patience, understanding, and perhaps a little more emotional bravery on your part. Just as touch can be a source of hesitation, it can also become a means of connection when handled with care, and knowing how to navigate this can make all the difference in moving the relationship forward. Sign number 7. She overreacts to little things you do. In the world of relationships, one of the clearest yet often overlooked signs that a woman is silently suffering for you lies in how she reacts to the smallest of your actions. You might have noticed it before. When you say something innocuous, like a casual comment or a harmless joke, her response seems exaggerated, almost disproportionate to the situation. It's as if her emotions suddenly explode, throwing reason and logic aside. That overreaction is no accident. It's a silent confession, her heart speaking louder than her mind, revealing a depth of feeling she may not even know how to process. In moments like these, you should pay close attention, because they reveal that your words, actions, and presence have a profound impact on her, more than she's willing to admit. When she falls silent or makes a sarcastic remark after you compliment another woman, it's not because she's being petty, it's because a small part of her is crushed by the thought of losing your attention. Similarly, when you involve her in something and you catch her lighting up only to quickly suppress her smile, she's giving you a glimpse into her inner turmoil. She is deeply affected by you, but her pride won't let her show it fully. This behavior speaks volumes about how emotionally invested she is in your relationship. And it's not just a passing feeling, it's a silent storm brewing beneath the surface. Let me remind you of something important. Emotions, when suppressed, often express themselves in unexpected ways. The philosopher Seneca once said, "We suffer more often in imagination than in reality." This is precisely what she's going through. The quiet outbursts are a reflection of her internal battle. Her heart feels deeply, but she can't always translate those feelings into words. She hides behind the walls of sarcasm or silence, trying to contain the emotional weight that your presence and actions bring into her life. This is where you come in, my friend. Your role is to be aware. Be the man who recognizes these signs, not to control her, but to understand her better. It's in these subtle moments that the depth of her affection is revealed, when you're not looking for it, when you think it's just a casual interaction. Your actions hold more power over her than you think. You are the source of her joy and her pain, and it's your responsibility to guide this connection in a way that brings balance. And as you witness these reactions, remember that each one is a breadcrumb on the path toward understanding. It's like a subtle dance she performs, trying to keep her emotions hidden, yet failing to do so in the face of your influence. Don't dismiss these reactions as trivial. They are clues to how connected she is to you. Her inner world is far more complex than she lets on, and it's your job to read between the lines. Pay attention. Every time you speak, every small action you take sends ripples through her emotional landscape. You might not notice it, but she feels it intensely. In a world where emotions often go unspoken, the tiniest shift in your behavior could either strengthen or fracture the bond between you. Take charge. Don't let these moments slip by unnoticed. Acknowledge them, understand them, and use them to deepen the connection, because if you fail to see them, you risk losing something valuable without ever realizing it. If you recognize these signs in her, take action. Stop for a moment and appreciate the gravity of the situation. This isn't just a woman who's upset about something small. It's a woman who is emotionally invested in you, who cares deeply, and who's trying to hold herself together even when her heart is in pieces. This is the kind of woman you don't want to lose. Acknowledge it and let her know you see her. Like, comment, and subscribe if you're ready to notice these signs and take control of your relationship. Sign number 8. She constantly puts your needs ahead of her own, even when it hurts her. There's a painful reality most men fail to notice in their relationships. the silent suffering of the woman who loves them. It's not loud, it's not obvious, but it's there. And one of the clearest signs is when she constantly puts your needs ahead of her own, even when it hurts her. This goes beyond simple selflessness. This is a kind of silent sacrifice, a deeper level of care that is often invisible to the one receiving it. She will rearrange her entire world, bend her desires, and let her own emotional or physical well-being be compromised just to keep you happy. The tragedy here is that she does this with no expectation of acknowledgement, and most importantly, no expectation of reciprocation. The mark of a true Stoic, as Marcus Aurelius put it, is the ability to endure hardship without complaint. Yet, this doesn't mean she isn't suffering. It means she has learned, perhaps painfully, to conceal her discomfort in favour of maintaining peace or ensuring you stay content. This is where modern Stoicism becomes essential. Men, particularly in today's fast-paced world, must learn to read between the lines and understand what isn't being said. It's about recognizing when someone, especially a woman who's been conditioned to put others first, has pushed their own boundaries in silence. How many times have you noticed her cancel plans with friends, ignore her own passions, or swallow her frustrations, all because your needs came first? Do you truly see her? What we think, we become, said Buddha. If you're blind to the quiet strength that supports you, you risk losing everything. Don't mistake her silence for strength or her sacrifices for weakness. It's a subtle form of martyrdom that will slowly erode the very fabric of your relationship if left unchecked. Consider this. One of the greatest Stoics, Seneca, wrote that no man is good by accident. It's through conscious action, through awareness of the silent signals others send us, that we become truly good men. When you're the one who is always taken care of, it's easy to become complacent. You may grow comfortable, even entitled to these constant gestures of love, yet not once stop to wonder what she's giving up to keep it all together. If you want to truly thrive in your relationship and show the depth of your appreciation for the woman who constantly puts herself aside for you, it's time to wake up. Stoicism is not just about enduring. It's about recognizing and responding to the deeper needs of others. You need to ask yourself, how can I be the man she needs? The man who sees her, who supports her in the same way she has silently supported me. This is where your growth as a partner begins. Start by asking her how she feels, really feels, without making it about you. Look for the signals she might be sending you through her actions and not just her words. She may never ask for help, but you must learn to give it. True leadership comes from self-awareness and compassion, not from taking the lead without ever noticing the cost to others. Realize this. If you fail to recognize these signs, your relationship will not be a partnership, but a one-sided affair. You will be the one benefiting, while she remains the silent giver. This is the true danger of modern relationships, where both parties are caught up in their own hustle, careers, and individual lives. It's easy to overlook someone when they make it seem effortless, but nothing is effortless for the person who's quietly sacrificing their happiness for yours. It's time to wake up and act before it's too late. Don't wait for the day when her sacrifices turn into resentment. In life, if you don't recognize what you're losing, you'll end up losing it all. Acknowledge her quiet suffering, respond with gratitude, and begin making the same sacrifices for her. It's the only way to ensure both of you are not only surviving, but thriving together. Every action, every word, every moment should now be a reflection of mutual respect, love, and understanding. When you begin to show up for her, the way she's shown up for you, that's when the real strength of your bond is forged. Remember, greatness is not in receiving, but in giving. Step into that power and let your relationship transform. Sign number 9. She becomes quieter or withdrawn when she's upset, rather than confront you directly. A woman who is silently suffering for you, particularly when she becomes quieter or withdrawn when upset, isn't just sulking or playing games. She's navigating a complex emotional landscape. Instead of confronting you head-on, she internalizes her feelings, retreating into herself. This is not weakness. It's her way of processing emotions, often trying to avoid conflict because she doesn't want to burden you. But make no mistake, her silence speaks volumes. In the grand scheme of relationships, this behavior is like a red flag, not waving wildly for attention, but calmly flickering in the background, urging you to pay attention. The Stoic philosophy reminds us that we suffer more in imagination than in reality. Yet when it comes to matters of the heart, imagination can often be the battleground. In modern life, where emotional expression is often valued more than emotional restraint, a woman who withdraws might be perceived as distant or unengaged. But in truth, she's still deeply invested, just quietly. It's in these moments when she pulls away that you should take a step back and reflect. Are you present enough to notice the subtle signs? Can you understand that her withdrawal isn't a rejection, but a call for you to step up and meet her emotional needs? Because if you're not careful, you'll miss the chance to address the underlying issue. She's not asking for grand gestures, but for understanding, for you to read the quiet cues, to respect the space she needs, and to give her the security to open up when she's ready. Relationships aren't built on constant confrontation. They are built on mutual understanding and respect for each other's emotional rhythms. The greatest victory is the one which requires no battle, said Sun Tzu, and the real victory here is learning to recognize the signs without forcing an emotional confrontation. A modern Stoic doesn't need drama to know when something is wrong. He can read the room, sense the shift in energy, and act decisively. If you truly want to lead in your relationship, it starts with mastering this awareness, recognizing that her silence is not an accusation, but a subtle cry for emotional support. If you ignore it, you risk driving her further into solitude. You risk missing the opportunity to strengthen your bond. But if you respond with patience, understanding, and an openness to her needs, you'll not only diffuse the tension, but deepen the trust between you. The bottom line is this: silence is not the absence of communication, it's just a different form of it. Don't mistake her retreat for abandonment. See it for what it is: a challenge to grow, a challenge to lead with wisdom and strength. Don't wait until it's too late. Recognize the signs, step up, and guide her back to emotional harmony. This is how you build a lasting, resilient relationship. Be embracing the power of silent understanding. If you understand this, comment below with "I lead with awareness" to affirm your commitment to mastering emotional intelligence. Now that you know these signs, it's time to pay closer attention to the people around you. Every subtle gesture, every quiet moment might be hiding feelings she's never comfortable sharing out loud. Understanding these silent signals can completely change how you relate to her and deepen your connection. Remember, a woman's heart often speaks loudest when she chooses to stay silent, and noticing that takes care, patience, and awareness. If this video helped you recognize these important behaviors and gave you a new perspective, please take a moment to hit the like button. Sharing this video with friends or anyone who might benefit can make a real difference. And don't forget to subscribe to the channel so you won't miss out on more insights about emotions, relationships, and the modern Stoic approach to life. I also want to invite you to join the conversation in the comments below. Do you recognize any of these signs from your own experiences? Or maybe you have questions or thoughts about what we discussed today? Feel free to share. This is a safe space to express your opinions, learn from each other, and grow together. Finally, turn on notifications so you'll be the first to catch new videos. Thanks so much for watching, for your support, and for being part of this community. Stay sharp, stay thoughtful, and remember, true understanding often comes from listening carefully to what isn't said. Take care and see you in the next video.